Now, what we're seeing right now, many people have decided that due to COVID, due to the lockdown, some of their worlds have been changed forever. And many have seen this as an opportunity to stick their toe in the entrepreneurial waters. Some have got some STEMI money, PPP money, EIDL money, or some family member got it. And they say, look, we've never seen this kind of money before. So what are we going to do? We're going to go start a business. Now, under normal circumstances, I would say, great. That's exactly what you should do. But we're seeing such numbers now. It's happening in such volume that I think I got to put the governor on. I got to have one foot on the brake for a minute. And I don't want you to be hasty because, yes, the key is not to start a business. That's not the hard part. The challenge comes in when you're trying to succeed in business. That's right. Why do you want to start a business in the first place? I mean, besides COVID-19, so look, I'm not going back in there. Shoot, I'm not going to have me beating up, getting shot over an old mask. I'm not going back in that airline. Somebody gouge my eyes out and knock out my 2 front teeth. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. This is not it. Well, yes, there is a better way. But don't think this business thing is a cakewalk either. You're gonna deal with some of those same issues that your employers, some of these folks you're running from. Look, sometimes you jump out of the frying pan into the fire because it's not a cakewalk. But the benefits are so enticing. Prestige. Hey, let me tell you something. Many friends who didn't get that medical degree, didn't get that law degree, didn't get that engineering degree. They can go out here and get that prestige by putting business owner behind their name. Entrepreneur. CEO. Yep, you can stick that chest out. Money. You play the cards right, you can do pretty darn good as a business owner. All that money you've been making for somebody else, they're paying you like $20 an hour, $25 an hour, but they're getting like $200 an hour through billable hours. Now, you're not going to get to keep all of that, but you can keep more of it. Independence. Oh, my God. Now, let me tell you something. It's not that you're going to start sleeping to 12 anymore in the morning, but it's something about it to know that you could sleep to 12 if you wanted to. That gets you up. I got up this morning at 6 o'clock. If I was going to a job, man, I slept right up until the very moment that I had to get up. Well, yeah, I'm coming because I want to. It's my company. Flexibility, great. Tax write-offs. You can hire your family members. I told my daughter, she doesn't need it because, man, she could hire me in a few days. But I told her, since she was young, you would never have to worry about getting a job. You may not be the job you want or your dream job, but I will always have a job for you. Man, there's something about that is so liberating. We don't have to take our kids to other folks' communities to get jobs. Heck, they're hiring their kids. We should hire ours too. And of course, legacy. Those are just great reasons to go out and start a business. Now, like I said earlier, I've been back and forth about whether you should, whether you shouldn't. Should everybody start a business? Well, I used to say everybody should. Then I realized everybody wasn't ready. Some folks just shouldn't be in business, period. Or at least they shouldn't be in the business that they got into. But then I realized this is what experience does for you. It's more nuanced than that. Because businesses fall in certain categories. They're not all created equally. If I was saying that everybody's got to go out here and start a business where you got to hire people and get up at 6 in the morning and work to midnight, and I would say no, but they're not. All businesses are not that way. These are Robert Gatewood's classifications of the different types of businesses that you might get into that makes it more nuanced. That makes me go back and say, yes, everybody should start a business because you have these different classifications. The first one is the part-time side hustle. That's available to practically everybody. Vending, resellers, influencers, internet businesses, everybody can do that. Has a low threshold. And yes, that would make you a business owner. Now, you got to talk to the IRS about whether it's a job or a hobby. but there are certain kind of qualifications. So, but yes, that's like the low hanging fruit of business ownership. Then you have the out of the box turnkey franchises, biz ops. It's pretty easy too, because you don't have to. One, you don't have to be a specialist in that particular field, and you don't have to do that long learning curve and trying to reach critical mass and break even, because all that has been taken care of in most cases. So yeah, you might be able to do that, whether you have business experience or not. That's what I'm saying. It's more nuanced now than just say it. Either you're a business, you have what it takes to own a business or not. Then we get down to the what I call the breadwinner, job replacement kind of businesses. And that's where a lot of people, when we talk about business ownership, that's where most people are focusing. They're not looking at the other categories. That means you left your 9-to-5 job. You're depending on this job to pay your expenses, your mortgage, your car, your kids' education, your food. The threshold is a lot higher. Those are your professionals, like your attorneys, your dentists, people like myself, service operators, plumbers, lawn care operators, cleaning services. They put it on the line. Now, one thing about that type of business, you don't just become these overnight. If that is you, and you know who I am, I bet you've been doing this for a minute. You may have started out with one of these side hustles, but if you're successful in business right now, if you're an attorney, if you're a plumber, if you're a marketing guy, you've been in it for a minute. And that's where people kind of use that broad brush when they say you get into a business. Yeah, there are other ways to get into a business. Like I said, it doesn't have to be full time. It could be a side hustle. It could be just another string of income. Vending machine, reseller, be an internet store, who knows what. But then you have the turnkey, like franchise. Then you have what I call the breadwinner, replace your job. Then there's another group, what I call scale to sell. They don't want to do any hard work. They want to start this thing out, get some VC money, and go off and live in the Bahamas or go to the island. They have no plan to be getting their fingernails dirty in a daggone business. And we see that with a lot of these, like I say, these companies that go and get the IPOs and Uber, people like that. They just have a whole different model. I've dealt with some of those as well. I had a young lady who was doing hair. She took hair to the tech field. Her business plan was not to get in that business and get her hand dirty. Her business was get that VC money, do a we call it no interest loan with a balloon payment after 5 years, sell that sucker for, make a few $1 million, off to the next venture. So yes, there are different types of businesses, but yes, it's an option that's available to all. Now, the thing about it though, you want to succeed. Why do they go belly up? I'm gonna give you some reasons, which also makes you want to think about, don't be hasty with this decision of yours. One of the number one reasons is lack of funding. People don't realize how much money it takes to make a business. You better get that money from somewhere. You can bootstrap, get a loan. Don't rob a bank. That's off the table. But you got to get that money. You got to fund it. Another problem is they don't do enough marketing. I know it sounds like a little self-serving, right? But that's the truth. That's the number one reason. Sometimes you get into a business, the market is already saturated. Just too many people doing it already. I don't care how much you love it. If everybody else is doing it and you're not doing if you're not creating barriers to entry or being a differentiator, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to make it. Speaking of barriers to entry, that's another reason businesses fail too. Those barriers to entry are preventing you from being successful. Like you're dealing against some well-heated advertisers. Folks have deep pockets. They're just going to market you under the table every time. There's regulation, there's compliance issues you didn't know about, so you got into it. You realize it's a little too late sometimes because you were moving on emotion. You didn't have the facts. Sometimes there's other people controlling the resources. You get into an industry where you can't get the supplies you need. Nobody told you about that. There are relationship issues. You got to have relationships in business. If you don't have those relationships, hard work alone is not going to make it for you. I'm sorry. You can't do it. And many small businesses, because of some of these other issues, they don't have the relationship, the funding, the resources. They give poor service. If you have poor service, you're not going to get the lifetime value, recurring businesses, upselling, cross-selling, referrals that's necessary to get the lifetime value to succeed. So those are some of the reasons that businesses fail. And failure can be devastating. You just don't brush that off as, well, I tried it. Now, I'm not saying when you fail, you need to, go jump off a bridge, but I'm saying if you can avoid it, that's why I'm saying let's not be hasty here. Everybody's jumping up now to go start a business. I want you to know what you're up against. Going out of business, it has a financial toll. I've had many people come to me over the years, and I want you to listen, and you know anybody who's about to do this, you tell them to think twice and think hard. If you're about to start a restaurant, for instance, man, anybody come to my business asking Gatewood Marketing to help them start a restaurant, I need to see some financials. So the chances of making it as a restaurant is one of the highest failure rates of any type of business out here. The barrier to entry is very high. So if you're thinking about it, or if you know somebody thinking about it, you better tell them to talk to somebody. The financial toll can be devastating. And not succeeding in business has an emotional toll as well. You just can't shake that off tomorrow. I mean, it affects your psyche. You take it personal in some cases. I feel like a failure. So don't take this thing lightly. It can ruin relationships. Because sometimes those stakeholders, the people that believed in you to help you get that business going, now you've disappointed them as well. You've lost family members sometimes. You're losing friends who you let down. Sometimes you're harder on yourself than they are. But it can be devastating on some of your relationships. And your reputation. Before you started that business, you could have been like the pillar of society. Hey, Robert Gatewood, man, that guy was, everybody liked him. Everybody thought he was the Mr. Big Stuff. Now you got this bad business experience on your brand, and your reputation takes a hit. I'm not saying don't do it. I want you to know what you're up against. Now, let's say I can't talk you out of it. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to enlighten you to let you know this is not an easy road, okay? These are things I want you to do. It's a little test to let me know if you're ready to do this. Do you have the right mindset? Do you understand you can't live the same life after you start a business? I'm telling you, you have to have a different mindset towards money, relationships, people. Almost everything you touch has to go through a different prism. The mindset has to be right. Because there are times that money alone is not going to get you through those tough days and weeks. You have to have the right mindset. Tie it to a mission and a purpose. I mean, money is good, but money alone is not going to get you there. You have to tie this to some type of greater calling. So if you're one of those folks, you COVID folks who say, look, hey, I'm not going back to work. I'm going to start a business. You need to take this advice. Have the right mindset tied to some type of mission or greater calling. Look at the society's needs. What do we need as a society? What are some of the wants, shortcomings, problems? Solve those. You don't have to go out here and create a need. Because now you got to start that whole industry life cycle over. And you're not going to make any money in that first 2 quarters of it. Look at the needs that already exist. Make sure you have some money. Now, this makes most people pause. You think about, you may lose your money. You may lose your house. You may ruin your reputation. But you better have some money. Because some of this other stuff you can brush over. You go home and tell that husband, that wife, that family that you just wasted the kids' college education fund on this idea you had. You better have some money that's tied to something other than something you got to live on. And last, this is where people like myself come in. You have got to market that business. There's an old saying, fortune favors the bold. This is one of those tricks, secret sauces of marketing that I learned. I was so glad I learned it. One of the biggest expenses on my income statement is advertising and marketing. Because I know other companies are not going to do it. I mean, this is easy, folks. I know you don't believe how easy this is. I'm just giving you the answer to the test. Your competitors are not going to do it. They're just simply not going to do it. For one, they're not listening to this show. They're going to be doing everything they can to try to make this business work, but they're not going to invest what it takes in marketing, advertising, and promotion. And I'm going to tell you why they don't do it, because they're not sure they're going to get a return on that investment. And that's why they come to people like me. Because once you decide that you have the right market, you're in the right place, you're at the right time, and you're doing it right, your wallet will flow open. And that money is going to go out and it's going to come back. And your competition is going to be wondering what happened. They're not going to know what hit them. So yes, in closing, I do want you to start that business. But I want you to make sure you're making the right move. You might start out as a side business. Just do some residual income, some multiple streams. You might not have what it takes to start a business from scratch and take it up to 20 years like myself and Bradley and Mr. Brown and Thorman and Jerry and BLE, people like that. You might just want to buy a franchise. You may have been in this for a long time. You just need some help to get you to that point of critical mass, break even. That's why you find a person like myself to help you along. You may be one of these folks that just need some venture capital money. You got an idea, an invention, go out here and get you a public, take it to an IPO, get you a short-term, interest-only loan, scale it and sell it. It depends. But yes, starting a business can be great. The prestige, the money, independence, flexibility, one of the best things that ever happened. But don't be hasty about it. Talk to somebody. Doesn't have to be me. Just talk to somebody. Folks, that's going to wrap up the show.